Hi, welcome to Room to Grieve podcast. We're your hosts, Karen and Bec. Grab yourself a cuppa, find a comfortable spot, and we'll journey through grief together.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm all right. Why have you got me up this early? Just because you can't sleep with the heat?
Yeah, well, I need to get this done in here before it gets too hot.
It's horrible, isn't it?
I don't want to be British and moan, but yes, it really is.
Oh, God.
I know.
Yesterday I was in bed with a temperature, shivering in that heat.
Oh, that's not the one, is it?
No, it was horrible.
Are you feeling better now?
Not really, but
Okay.
I put a brave smile on.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Been a shit week for you, so how's it been?
The day itself, Anne's anniversary, was okay. The day before was horrific. I would say probably one of the worst days we've had. And it was just horrendous.
It's that night, isn't it, when you go to bed knowing that you're going to wake up onto that day. For me, it's like Christmas Day and that. Like, it's that night before I find it.
It was the whole day. We woke up. We arrived in Spain really, really late or early hours. And obviously we didn't have a bed because everything was piled up in the back bedroom. So we had to make our bed. And it was sort of, it sounds daft, it was exciting. You know, it was a bit different. Yeah. And then because of all the dust and everything, we got sinus issues and I didn't feel brilliant, but we ploughed on, you know, we worked for that 3 days and then we did that much that by the fourth day, we'd finished all what we was doing. And that was the day before and we thought, right, we can't stop. We will go and get more supplies and we thought of another job. And it was a Spanish holiday because they're all the time, right? So many saints, right?
So many.
And then we thought, oh my God, everything's shut. And it was like a switch being flicked and we just went downhill rapid. And I know you can't use distraction all the time, but we bloody needed it.
Mm.
You know, we tried to find something else to do, but because we'd got in our head something we did want to do, nothing else was cutting it. And we were just like wandering round and crying, just absolutely sobbing, both of us. It did help that we was doing it together.
I was going to say that's good that you can because we struggle with that here in this house.
Yeah, there was no hiding it. You can hide it for so long, can't you?
Yeah.
You could. But there was two of us in a very small space. There was no hiding it.
Yeah.
So you could hide it by coming up to Brad's room and recording or doing this or doing that or going working. We had no escape. We was there. We was in it. And we just...
So how did that feel? Like,
it was
grieving together.
I don't know. It was like we was back to being numb again in one way.
Yeah.
And the total and utter disbelief. How the hell is she not here? How the hell have we not got our daughter? Why? All them questions again, over and over. We just can't believe she's not here.
Yeah.
2 bloody years.
Yeah, how have we got here? How have we done this? How?
I couldn't even go over to the Pebbles, the Pebble Memorial. I didn't look at them once. Rob went over and he did a bit of weeding and moved. So he said, some of your pebbles are faded. You need to write the names back on again. I went, yeah, okay. He says, do you want me to bring them over? I went, no. And that is not me. I usually get out the car and it's the first thing I do. I walk across the road and see which pebbles need titivating. And I just couldn't go over. I just couldn't. I was like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And that's me just being honest. What is the point? What is the point in doing anything? And that's how we was on that day. We was just like, she's still going to be gone. Don't feel any better, really. So what is the point? And that was the entire day. And we both felt exactly the same. I think Rob had a few drinks. I didn't drink, so I thought that'll be even worse if it was possible. And then just the next morning, woke up at 7, went, right, we're going to Leroy Merlin's, which is like the equivalent of our B&Q. What time does it open? And we was there for 5 to 9 and they opened at 9. We were stood outside the door and give us wood, give us paint, And we did a full day and it was the day we was coming home. It was the actual anniversary day, and we just worked through it.
Yeah.
We laughed because we're notorious between us for really bad measuring. And we were doing 5 equal panels, right? No idea how many times we measured them, right? And so, well, we take that from the centre, and then that's that, and then that's that. We did it all, got it. I went, did you measure from there to there and there to there? So 2 of the outside panels are actually a different size than the 3 middle ones. And we measured so many times, and so I could see Rob going downhill. And he didn't want to carry on. He said, it's all after going to come off. So the wall's been plastered. So we tried to take one of the panels off that we'd done. And I went, no, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to just leave it. Yeah. I said, we will put another strip in the end too. I said, it doesn't matter because it's the end too. We'll just put another little thin strip and it will make it equal and you won't notice. Right? Once the top shelf's on, you won't notice. And, I said, well, the time there's a lamp there. And then on the other side, there's going to be a curtain, coming back on. I said, the fullness of the curtain. I said, you won't even see it. And then the headboard. So I put everything back and he went, no, you're right. You won't see it, will you? So that was all right then. And we could laugh about it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that actually made, because we're so notorious of it, we actually had to take a full ceiling down once because we cut so many holes in the ceiling. The ceiling lights, we kept hitting joists. And, we kept going back to that time and how funny it was. And we sat, we watched TV and we got through the day and it was fine. But like I say, the day before was horrific.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But coming home, being poorly, I have got an infection and on antibiotics. So Friday, sat in the doctor's, feeling very sorry for myself. Actually started crying in the waiting room.
Oh, blimey.
That is not me.
No.
And so I could feel my bottom lip going because my arm was numb and my fingers were numb. I'm thinking, I'm having a heart attack.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And I had to wait for the doctor over half an hour. So can you imagine what was going through my head in that half an hour?
Oh, you were dead by the time you went in there, weren't you?
Yeah. And I had my list when I got in, and I was going, this is what my brother's got. It's hereditary. I think I've got it. I can't spell it. So that's what it is. I've wrote it down. So she examined me, blah, blah, blah. And so the lump that I had in my boob is now infected, spreading, and it's just all my lymph glands are up and I feel absolutely shit. But getting there, know what it is, it's being dealt with. Right. But then the list come out because I've not been in so long. I said, I had a brain scan like a year ago. Can I have the results for it, please? So she said, well, why have you not looked online? Why have you not done anything about it? I said, because my daughter set the password and it was dead girl walking was her password and she's dead. So I can't look. So she went, oh, right. I was thinking, this woman is mental. What is that? And I said, and I've got all these issues. I said, I'm going bald on this side. I said, I've lost all my left eyebrow. I said, I've put it down to stress, with me grieving. I was like, I'll tell you again.
Yeah.
I said, but I'm just wondering if it might be anything medical. So she went, oh, I don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know? You could do something about it.
Yeah, find out then.
Find out. So can you give me my brain scan results? Just in case I'm dying. And she went, no, my computer, I can't get onto the system at the moment. She said, but you really must look it up. I thought, well, I'm here. You go look it up for me. Go on somebody else's system and look it up.
Yeah.
So I said, you do know I'm not going to go do that, don't you? She went, you must. I thought, well, if it's that important, you should get off your ass and you should go and look for me.
Yeah.
So then I said, and I've got this other problem with my belly button and I've been using a cream because that's infected. My whole system's infected. And I said, and I've run out of the cream. She said, what cream is it? I said, don't bother looking on my prescription. I said, it was my son's when he was a baby. I said, he's 21 now. That's how long the cream's lasted me. I said, it's probably out of date now. And she's like, is this woman for real? So I didn't dare tell her that the lump in my boobs got infected because I stuck a pin in it.
Honestly.
Just exactly what the hospital said don't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hurting. So I thought I'd make it hurt a bit more.
I was going to say, so you thought you'd make it worse?
Yeah. Anyway, that's catch up. That's getting over the dates and illnesses and being poorly while you're grieving. Don't recommend it.
It's not good, is it?
No, you cannot escape.
No, I remember when I think that's what kick-started a lot of my bad bits at the beginning of the year was being ill. And honestly, you spiral so fucking quick, don't you? It's just like, I just remember thinking, oh my God, I feel so poorly. I feel so sorry for myself. And if I feel this ill and I'm not dying, can you imagine how ill they felt when they were dying? And it's just horrific, isn't it?
Oh God, I never thought of that.
Oh, I did.
I suppose I've got that to come yet.
Yeah, that
Got
was
another
like,
day in bed for that.
Yeah. It's all just shit, isn't it?
It is shit, yeah. It really is. Do you know what I wanted to talk about today?
What?
To lighten the mood.
Go on.
Near-death experience.
Oh, that really lightens me.
Yeah.
God,
Really. Thought that.
So is that what you've been feeling like you've been having them when you were sitting in a doctor's waiting room?
Oh, not at all. I was watching an old QI. I feel dead clever because I watched QI. These things that come up, like, oh, that's interesting. And it was this doctor, Dr. Sampania, that had done. This was a few years because they're really old QIs that I'm just watching. Okay. That's all I can watch. I can't tolerate anything else. And I got a secret crush on Alan Davis. He's gorgeous.
Okay.
Do you know who he is?
See the guy with like bit curly hair?
Yeah, Jonathan Creek.
I don't know what Jonathan.
Looking,
I don't know what Jonathan Creek is.
I just think he's lovely, and it makes me laugh.
Okay.
Yeah. Each to their own.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine when I was younger was Ali McCoist. Not so much now, but like
was talking. Was he blonde? Was he fair hair? No.
No, he's. I want to say a rugby player, but I'm not sure. But anyway, go on. Tell me about your near-death experiences.
Yeah, so they was talking about they'd done this professor had done this experiment. So they were saying apparently your body rises and then you come back down into your soul rises and you come back down into your body. So he did an experiment in like hospices or hospitals or something like that.
How have they detected that?
So what they've done,
how do you measure that?
High up, they've put pictures and then questioned people afterwards of what they saw.
Right.
Yeah. This was only a small part of the experiment.
Okay.
And so this was years ago that this was recorded.
Yeah.
And then Stephen Fry said, oh, but we've spoke to Dr. Pania and they've declined to give us the results yet. So so as the programme's on, I'm Googling it.
Yeah, I was going to say, so come on then.
And I thought, well, it'll be on now then.
Yeah.
So apparently the BBC have done a full documentary about it.
All right.
And the only little clip I watched was this lady who described her near-death experience. It was going to different ones, clips of, this is just short clips of people. And I'm going to watch it because it looks really good. And this lady that was in childbirth, she nearly died in childbirth and she relived all her life. She was like all these things coming up and she wasn't just witnessing like pictures of them. It was like reliving them, memories, smells and all that. And she said she was in such a beautiful place and she didn't want to go back. And they said, right, you've got to go back. So she said, well, I don't want to. I'm happy here. She said she felt such happiness. And it was beautiful. And she said, they said, yes, but you've got to go back. So, and they've shown her why. When I say they, I've not watched the documentary yet. I don't know, like, there was a group of people there or people she knew or anything like that. And they've shown her pictures of a baby and a baby growing up. And then she went, right, okay, I'm going back. I need to go back. And she went back. She remembered it. And for years, it drove her mad because it's all she could talk about. And people didn't get her. People were like, as if she was a bit crazy.
Yeah.
So I really need to watch that documentary.
Okay. So what do you think happens?
Well, this is what I was going to talk to you about. What happens when we die? What do you think happens when we die? Right, we're going to have two different versions now, aren't we? We're going to have to be previous to Bradley and Emily dying. And what we think now, I think, are going to be very different.
I used to think that we died, and I don't really think I gave it a massive amount of thought.
No.
But I never really gave it. I just kind of thought that we died and then somehow our souls were rejuvenated and you were born again at some point. But I never really thought that there was a middle ground. We just died and then our souls stayed dormant, if you like, until we were reborn again.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what I thought, is that there was some dormant state in between that, and I did believe that some people would be reincarnated and would remember past lives and things like that. Whether I believe that to be totally true, it interested me.
Yeah.
But never enough to kind of really read into it or do anything particularly about it. A lot of people around me were always very uncomfortable with death and talking about death and didn't like it. And so it just naturally became something that I was just conscious of, that I didn't think about or talk about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you go to church as a family?
Yeah, I was really religious. I'm confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went to church every Sunday. I would go to church and set up the church for the vicar. I would go to Sunday school. I'd take communion. We lived opposite the church.
That was the same. Do you know what I always remember? My mum, when I was confirmed, my Auntie Margaret said to her, "Oh, don't buy one of them white dresses." She said, "It'll be of no use. She'll never use it again." And I went to C&A, and my mum bought me a beige and brown rah-rah skirt and a brown polo neck.
Oh.
And I stood there with all the other girls in all the pretty white dresses and the little veils in my brown C&A outfit. I hated that outfit.
We didn't have veils. We're not Catholics. We're Church of England. So
no, we're Church of England, but it was a very high church. Still is.
Oh, no. We just went to the cathedral at Peterborough and I had a pink and white dress, but it was a long,
So it weren't like a little mini wedding dress?
No, but it was a full-length dress with quite a full skirt.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I had this brown
and it was all
skirt,
tailored at the
beige.
top.
Yeah, mine was brown and beige. I had brown socks. Brown socks.
No,
mine was
pink
wears
and
brown
white.
socks. And my school shoes. It's funny how you remember things like that. I
Yeah,
wanted
no,
one
mine
of
was
them
pink
little
and
white
white.
dresses.
And I remember my nan brought me a white Bible. And I've never read the Bible. Other than in Sunday school.
Books and some felt tips.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. But do you
Again.
think that because of that, because that was sort of in us that we didn't really know. Because I was the same. I used to go to Sunday school. I used to help in Sunday school. And then when I was older, I'd take all the kids up from Sunday school to after the service, you know, and you have the final communion.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did all that, but I'm not religious. I wouldn't say I was religious in any shape or form.
I wouldn't say I was religious, but if I was asked if I had a religion, I would always say it was Church of England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of just there, lurking in the background. And I if anybody else has different religions, I just think, all right, that's what they believe.
Yeah.
And I'm very accepting, you know, like it's nice that somebody has a belief. In a way, I wish I had more of one since all this happened. That I would think it could bring you quite a lot of comfort.
Well, like it did Bradley, didn't it? Like, because Bradley was the only one of mine that went to a Church of England primary school. The others didn't. They went to the local school, but with Bradley, I'd learned to drive by the time Bradley was starting school, whereas I couldn't when the others were at school, so they had to go to the only school I could walk them to. Whereas I was in a position to be able to take Bradley to what I considered was a slightly better school. So I took him to the primary school that was very similar to the one that I had when I was a kid, and it was Church of England school. You know, there was only 20 kids in the whole year group. You know,
right.
It was tiny, it was cute. And he loved it, and it was very religious, and, you know, they would have prayers and hymns and stuff in school, and it was all centred around the church. But then he very much forgot that as he got older, and then once he found out he was going to die, he really went back to religion.
Yeah, came
and
back
that was
to
such
him.
that was such a saving grace for him. But I have to say, I didn't feel like I fell back on my faith at all.
No, I felt let down by it. You know, if there's a God, how can a God give a 14-year-old a brain tumour? When there's so many evil people in the world, why can't they get the brain tumour? Why can't murderers and rapists and
Yeah, so I think for me, that kind of told me that there was no religion. Like, I didn't feel angry at God. I just felt like this wasn't God's doing, because it's not something God controls. It's something it made me more spiritual it made me believe this is what I then looked at things more into, this is what the universe, this is fate, this is destiny, it made me more spiritual. So it kind of made me think, you know, that this isn't one person that's determining who becomes ill or who becomes successful. Or
that whole universe thing, though, that sort of drove me a bit mental for a while, because I was thinking, you know, and you think, oh, if you manifest, you'll get what you want. And I didn't.
But I don't think that I believe... Oh, God, you're asking me questions that are going to make me look crazy. I believe now that, like you said, things changed. That they were all my feelings before Bradley was ill. Now, kind of going through the whole illness with Bradley and him dying, I now believe that our souls continue to live on after we die, and that we are just energy, that energy doesn't stop, and that our bodies are just vessels. And I believe that there is this other universe, like you were saying, that person goes and speaks to somebody and there is another universe. And I believe in that universe that we come to Earth as some sort of, or wherever we are in this world, as some sort of life lesson that we learn, or we choose bodies and lifetimes that we come to. So I believe that whenever Bradley came into this lifetime, he always knew that he was going to die when he was 18. So I believe that no matter what I did, or what I chose, or what I manifested, that was his destiny, not mine.
Okay.
And so therefore I can't carry any guilt or blame or association towards that, because it wasn't mine.
No, definitely wasn't yours. It wasn't anything any of us could do anything about.
No. I do truly believe that I've spent many lifetimes with my kids and that I will spend more lifetimes with my kids.
Do you remember previous lifetimes?
No, but
so how can you say that then?
Because it's a choice.
Right, okay.
To believe it, because it
of course
brings
it is.
me peace.
Yeah, but my choice is that when I die, she will be there waiting for me.
Yeah, and it brings me peace in believing that Bradley is still around and that his energy hasn't gone anywhere and that he's still well aware of what I'm doing and he will be there when I die. I do have this niggling thing because this is me and nothing ever goes by.
I know what you're going to say.
Simple as that.
I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
He's already chosen another life and gone, so he's not going to be there.
Yes. What if he's already been reincarnated somewhere else?
No, because he's got somebody special he's waiting for.
Yeah.
So he'll wait.
How will I know if he ever reincarnates and he's not there anymore?
We don't know.
Like, what if one of my grandkids, not that I think any of my kids will have any kids, but, if they do, and I get a grandkid and I think that's Bradley reincarnated because they're just like him, how will I know whether he's come back as them or whether he's still there?
I don't think they would come back as somebody like that.
But how would I know? That's the only thing that
I don't think you would. I don't think you would. You might have like a feeling, oh God, that was like Bradley, like you did with your nephew the other week. But I don't think true. I think a half of that would be just wishful thinking that it was them come back. You would never ever truly know.
Maybe.
Unless you was lying in bed one day and he come in and said, Mum, you do know it's me, Bradley, don't you? I mean, then you'd just shit yourself.
Then I'd shit myself. Yeah, then I'd shit myself.
Yeah, could do without that.
Yeah, I would shit myself. But you do read about these kids that do say, don't you? Like,
I remember this.
I used to be called Alan and live in Birmingham when I was in my other life, when I had a different mummy and all that. And you think, I'd shit myself if a kid said that.
I remember my nephew. He actually said to his mum one day, he was like quite a deep person. He was lovely lad. And he actually said to his mum, I used to go to work on the train.
Yeah, I'd shit myself.
And his mum went, what do you mean? Oh, in a previous life, I used to go to work on a train. He was a school child when he said it.
Yeah.
And that was it. And he that was end of conversation. But you could see it. He was an old soul. He was wise.
They say up to about 4 that you can remember, children can still remember their past lives, don't they?
I mean, the shit Emily used to come up with, like she used to talk to dead people and things like that. I mean, she was so spiritual, wasn't she? And I'm like, there's got to be something.
I believe in fate. And I believe that we're all meant to meet certain people and the universe will bring people together if you missed your first meeting with people. I truly believe that, you're supposed to be in my life, that Emily was supposed to have the impact that she has, because Emily's belief has really allowed me to be more comfortable in my beliefs, like more confident in the way that I want to believe. And Emily's been a massive driving factor for me in that, and that's been a massive source of comfort for me in my grief. I believe that some of the people that Bradley met on his journey that really helped him build his faith and his religion, were meant to be in his life. And as you know, one of them is, a footballer that plays for a different team than what Bradley supports, but happened to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, Bradley's a United player. This guy's a City player. What was the chances of us meeting a City player at the United grounds and then becoming best friends with Bradley? But their prayers and religious beliefs was the biggest source of comfort to Bradley. and the friendship that they created.
Yeah.
And they would talk all day, every day on the phone, but mainly about religion and prayers.
Wow.
And when Bradley died...
Why did you just meet that person?
Honestly,
it's why things happen.
We say it all the time.
On the night, if we go back to the night before Emily's anniversary, Rob had gone out for a few drinks with the guy next door. I dropped him off, come back, and he said, "Are you okay on your own?" I went, yeah, I thought I'd be better on my own. And I was just sat there, and earlier on in the day, our neighbour had given us an Alexa, but one with a screen. So we'd set it all up, and that was just plugged. It was over in the corner, and it was just there on a shelf. And I just sat there, and I started crying, and I was actually howling. And our next door neighbours had just turned up. They're Swedish, and I could see them in the garden looking to see, they'd all come out, and they was looking to see where the noise was coming from. So I was trying to be quiet, but I couldn't. I'd calm down, and then I'd start again, and just saw this blink in the corner, and I looked, and the thing had lit up, the Alexa screen thing, and I don't know how you use it. I've never used that one because mine's not the same as that. And I went over to it, and it's got, is it Sam Boone? Stars in the Sky or
Benson
something?
Boone.
Right.
Benson Boone and the Stars.
And that was on the thing. So I just said, Alexa, play. And it played that. And then I recorded it, what happened. Halfway through, Taylor Swift started playing.
Yeah, but it still had the Benson Boone thing on the screen.
Yeah. Because it started playing, and my phone was literally just there, because I'd text you to show you that song I wanted you to put on her thing to go on Instagram, and it just changed to Taylor Swift. Yeah. From nowhere. I hadn't even asked it to come on when it first flashed. So then I had a pendulum, and I'm dancing round the villa, holding it like a mental person.
Not
on
mental.
My own, just dancing, holding, pretending I was with her. And I kept saying then, because that's obviously not enough. That wasn't enough. So then I'm going, Emily, you know what I want you to play? Play our song. Play it. And she didn't. And I thought, you awkward little bugger. Well, she never was going to. No. She'd be there.
Daughter.
Look, I've just done that. Is that not enough? Yeah.
You're a grateful cow.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what. And then when I went to pick him up, they both got in the car, and Alan and Rob got in the car from the pub, and I'm sat there, and they got in and they looked at me, and my face must have been so swollen from crying, and nobody said a word. And so I started looking at me and said, "Is she all right?" Yeah. And then when we got out, Rob said, "You okay, love?" And I went, "No, don't ask." But yeah, so I honestly do think, and it's not just wishful thinking. It's not just, now it's not. I just feel she'll be there waiting for me. I just feel it in every bone in my body. And I feel that Bradley's just waiting with her and looking after her until I get there. And then I'll look after them both until you get there.
I don't know. I reckon I'll die first. I reckon I'm just going to piss you off.
No, Rob reckons that.
Does he?
Yeah. I said such thing. He said, I'm not going to be here then. So, whatever it is, isn't it?
You think it's just wishful thinking?
Definitely wishful thinking. Yeah. I mean, you've got a long line of, your nana was 99.
Yeah. Both of my grandparents, well, my nan was 99, my other nan was 96, my granddad was 92.
Yeah. My dad was in his 80s. And my dad, at the end of life, he just, well, it wasn't right at the end, because he took his time. And I was sat of a week. They said it'll be today, and it was a week later. And about 3-4 days before he died, the last thing he said, I've had a good life. And just closed his eyes. He didn't speak after that. And it's funny because I'd sent my brother out. I said, you go and have something to eat. And his wife had picked him up and they went into the local, like, little bistro thing. And I just texted it. My dad died while he wasn't there. I was on my own with him. And I thought, this sounds really selfish. I deserve that because I'd cared for my dad for the previous 10 years. And I wanted to be on my own with him.
Yeah.
And so just text my brother, don't have a pudding. In other words, come back.
Yeah.
So we come running back and I went, you're always too late, aren't you, Anthony? He'd had a nice life. He was content.
But it was the same with my nan. They said to us the day she was going to die, she died a week later. And the last thing she said, she died on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And
she didn't say Merry Christmas, did she?
No, I don't think she had any idea. No, she must have, because it was the day before Christmas Eve.
I've had my last turkey.
Well, she'd not spoken for about 2 or 3 days, and me and my sister sat at her bedside. You know what it's like? Like, you're just waiting. And we were talking about...
You run out of things to say. It's not always like it is in the movies. And me and my sister were just... You're like thinking...
Yeah, we were just talking to each other, and I was a bit like, I really need to go to Tesco's and I need to buy this. And like, I was just really talking about everything that we had to do for Christmas. And then I was talking about Christmas dinner.
Isn't that what your nan would want? Just to hear your voice
and I was
everyday conversation.
Like what I've been able to pick up from Tesco's on my food shop. And then I said something about Christmas dinner and sitting around the table, and my nan sat up and said, don't forget me. And my nan hadn't moved for like a week and not spoken, not eaten or anything. And she tried to get out of bed, and we were like, Nanny, we promise we won't have Christmas Day without you. And of course you're coming for Christmas Day. And she just smiled and laid back down and then died about, 24 hours later. But it's like, it was just like, she wasn't there, she couldn't talk, she couldn't do anything. And then all of a sudden, when we were talking about Christmas Day, which was her favourite time of year, and she loved nothing more than Christmas Day and a big family meal. And she was like, I'm coming on, are you going to come and pick me up and take me? And we were like, yeah, of course we will. And then it was like she was content enough then. She was like, okay. It's weird, isn't it, how they still hear.
Yeah.
And still get that, like your dad, I've had a great life. They still just get that last thought that makes them happy. And then my nan was ever so content. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is weird. So we need to watch this documentary now, don't we?
So what have your thoughts changed to? So what do you believe now?
Oh, I just believe that we cannot be just us and we cannot just end. And it's funny because I think I spoke about it in the past that John, the psychotherapist, I mean, he has admitted a man of science, a man of learning, and been to uni, or this, that, and the other. He's got all his qualifications. He said, how can it just be us? How can it just end? And he's worked in the hospice environment for a long time, and he's seen lots and lots of deaths of children, and he gets it. Do you know what I mean? And if it comes from somebody like that who says, how can it just end? How can there not be more to it? So that I'm going to sort of start looking now into people with that opinion, and sort of I'm turning into you. I'm going to do a little bit of digging, and
I did.
And I think we need a guest on who can confirm it. We don't want anybody coming on that can confirm there's nothing. Yeah. We only want confirming one way, the right way.
I'd be quite happy with that. I just need someone to tell me one way or the other.
No. They've got to confirm what we want to hear. Got to be realistic, Bec.
But then I think if there is nothing and Bradley's just gone, then I'll just be gone too. And then I just kind of think it just brings me back to that whole what's the point of life thing even more.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I choose to believe in the whole spiritual thing, in that we're all here with a purpose and a life lesson. And we all choose the life and we know what life we're going into. And I believe that we are all here to learn a lesson, either for ourselves or for somebody else. So whatever lesson Bradley was here for, it was to teach me and others around him, about the simplicity of life and just accepting life for what it is. And, I said before that my mum's partner died a couple of years ago, and he had a horrific accident that he survived that was unsurvivable. And he survived for about 9 months, and he was in hospital, and the doctors just couldn't believe that he was alive. Whenever you took his vitals, they read that he was dead. And I've said it before, he had all these signs all around his bed that said, don't touch the machines. I know they say I'm dead, but I'm not, I'm alive. Like, nobody could understand how the guy wasn't dead. And I truly believe that he was sent into our lives because I learned so much through watching his outlook on life through his illness. It gave me so much that I learned from all of that when Bradley was ill, about positive mental attitude and all of that. And I think I would have crumbled a lot more when Bradley was ill, but I took so much from Jim.
Yeah.
And I believe that, that there was some lesson in that, we were supposed to learn. And whether that's just this toxic positivity mentality and that it just gives me a way of
I don't think it
coping.
is. I think if we don't learn, we've got to learn all the time just to get us through another day.
Yeah.
Surely, if it helps us, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to look for things. Because things stop working, your distraction stops, and so you need to move on to something else.
When Jim died, I kept saying, I don't understand why he's had to die. He was such a kind soul, and he just got life, and his outlook on him being ill was so positive, and he just didn't deserve that. And then when Bradley was ill, I just kept thinking that's why he had to die. Because he had to show us how to show up for Bradley.
Right.
It can be the only reason. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, very weird.
Makes me sound like a crazy woman, but...
Well, we know you are a little bit anyway, so it doesn't matter. You're allowed to be. Yeah. I've been talking about crazy woman. I've been looking at houses in Carmarthenshire. Is it?
Why?
Because this gets better now. So there's this one place. It's got about 6 acres. It's got 2 houses on. So you're selling your house.
Yeah.
You're selling your house and you're living in one. We're living in the other. Mine's a bit bigger. My house.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. Less for me to clean, all right?
Yeah, no, mine's built. Yours might have a roof missing.
Right, okay.
So you can live in ours while you get yours is being done up, or a caravan. Okay. Yeah. And then
mine's more of a barn then.
Yes, yours is a barn. Yeah.
Right.
And there's walls and the floor, but just no roof. And then we've got all this land, and we can put lodges on, and we can be a grief retreat, and we can have. And there's already a lodge on, and it's it's in blue.
Is it?
It's a sign.
It
needs doing up and everything, but it's an open space. And I thought that could be our yoga room, or we could do all sorts. We could do everything. Yeah,
I'm
all in beautiful countryside. And Simon and Rob can drive the tractor and do the lawns. They'd love it. And just a nice, peaceful way of life. Right. Well, I think we've We've had quite a weird discussion this week, haven't we?
Yeah, I don't even know whether it's really been particularly griefy. We've probably been a little bit too political for us in terms of our beliefs.
Sure, we're allowed to have beliefs. Everybody's allowed to have beliefs.
Yeah, it's weird. I genuinely thought I would, prior to Brandy being ill, I always thought that maybe I would turn to my religion a bit more, or go against my religion. And I have to say, I've become a little bit like, it didn't throw me one way or the other.
No.
You know?
No, I'm just the same, really.
Yeah, it's really weird. But it did throw me a lot more into spiritualism and the whole sort of universe. And
I bet
and
so
I think
many
that
people are like that. Is at the beginning, it is sort of clutching at straws that you just want to speak to them. You want a message. We've got to be honest with that. It is. We'd speak to anybody with,
and that does worry me because it's such a vulnerable place to be.
Yes.
And there are so many people out there that will take advantage of that. That does bother me. But
I was talking to a lady coming home on the plane, as I do.
I'm going to say standard, yeah.
Oh, really lovely. 2 ladies coming back from Benidorm with sparkly hats on and the lovely outfits. They look good. They'd had a good time. I think they were exhausted. They'd had a proper tea bag. They were desperate for a cup of tea. And they was lovely. And she lost her dad, I think it's nearly a year ago. And she said, she spoke about her dad. She believes that her dad's with her. There's certain things. And she also said was it right that she felt numb and she still didn't feel that it had hit her. And we just had we had chatted for 2.5 hours about it. And another lady that who delivers to work, she delivers our parts to work, and her dad died, and it wasn't expected. I think it was an accident, but she was in a car accident, and just before the car hit her head on, she felt like somebody just doing that on her, and she sort of, it made her, just for that little minute, sort of slow down or something, and then hit her, threw a car over, and she said she reckoned it was her dad. And it's happened a couple of times, things that she felt that he was there and he was protecting her.
Blimey.
So all these things are happening. I'd love to hear people's stories and share, just to make us feel less crazy.
Yeah.
To give us hope. Give everybody hope.
Yeah.
That there's got to be something out there. They're waiting for us, aren't they?
They better be.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I die, I'm going to die with a massive smile on my face, because that's what I'm going to believe anyway. So
yeah, me too. Right, we need to sort this Zoom thing out as well, don't we? We've got June out of the way now.
Yes.
We've got all our anniversaries. Oh, it's my birthday the other day. Your Morgan sent me a nice message.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Bless her.
But I think I had 3 birthday wishes. And Rob said, "Oh, has nobody remembered your birthday?" I said, "Well, you can't say you're not celebrating your birthday and then complain that nobody wishes you happy birthday."
Well, Simon said to me, "I've not sent Karen happy birthday because I don't know if I'm supposed to or not."
Oh, yeah, and Simon sent Simon. You,
yeah, because we had a whole discussion about it in the car, because he said to me, "Did you send happy birthday?" I said, "I did, but I didn't really mean happy birthday. It was just more of an acknowledgement of my birthday."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Because I don't know what to write." He was like, "I don't know whether to send happy birthday or not." And I was like, "Well, I sent it." He was like, "Okay." And then I think it was still about another 2 hours before. I think he still thought about it for another 2 hours before, and I don't even know what he sent you in the end. But he said to me,
"Happy birthday," and then I think, I don't I think I might have got it when I was sat in the doctor's when I was crying, so I never even replied.
No, that's right, because about 3 o'clock he said to me, I sent Karen happy birthday and she just read it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. She's probably just busy. And he was like, so then he overanalyzed everything.
Oh, God.
So now
just
I've
tell him
upset
I was busy. I was in the doctor's surgery. I
don't
don't
even
know
thought about it for hours before he sent it to you.
Well, my brother's forgot again. My brother forgot Emily's anniversary.
Really?
Yeah. My mum forgot my birthday.
Did your mum remember Emily's anniversary?
Yes. Yeah, I had a text.
Perhaps your mum just thought you didn't want to celebrate your birthday.
Don't know. I don't. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, I'm not celebrating my birthday and then moan that nobody's remembered your birthday, can you?
Yeah.
You've got to make your mind up. And I've made my mind up. 2 days after Emily died, I had to register her death and it happened to be my birthday. So that's my birthday for the rest of my life. I'm not really bothered about birthdays anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, I get it though, because like, my mum's not capable of remembering. And it's like, as you know, you were there on Bradley's anniversary and my mum had got no fucking idea what the whole family was there together for. She just genuinely, I don't even know what she thought we were there for. And that does feel really shitty. So I get it. And I know that it feels really shitty when people forget. But what can you do about it?
Nothing. I am the world's worst person at remembering birthdays. I can't say anything, can I?
But like on their anniversaries, when people don't text you, it does feel shitty, doesn't it? It feels like, for me, I feel like I've let Bradley down by people not remembering. And that's on me. I get that.
Yeah.
But I can't help that that's, you know.
Well, I didn't put Emily's on Facebook. I've just put it on our own Room to Grieve story and Instagram. So I got very, very few texts.
But you shouldn't need to put it on Facebook to remember, should you? But I mean, I know when I posted Bradley's, everybody had texted me before I even posted it.
Yeah, that's the difference.
But then I have people around me that remember dates and shit. You know, like I'm that crappy friend that, you know, it's like 5 to midnight and I suddenly remember, oh shit, I was supposed to text so and so today. You know, I do need to be a better friend. I am rubbish at it. I try to. I put things in my phone and I have every intention of remembering. I just don't.
I don't even know you put things in your phone. I don't know you put it.
I put it in my calendar.
What? Never used that in my life. I'm really technical now because I've got my fingerprint thing.
Have you?
Coming to go through.
In the world.
Yeah, and coming to go through, put my fingerprint on, went to my wallet to get my boarding pass at the turnstile thing. Yeah, wallet is empty. No data, so I couldn't get my emails.
Oh.
So we had to move out of the way because of the people on behind us trying to get on the plane or through security. And we had to then log on. I had to go on to Rob's hotspot, and I had to do it that way. Can you imagine the state I was in?
Yeah. No, I really can.
Yeah, and that's because Rob had set up the fingerprint thing and everything had gone. So there you go. That's technicology for you.
I mean, telephones have had fingerprint recognition for about 6-7 years now.
Is it?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you finally moved into like...
It's really handy, you know, when you want to pay with your phone. Yeah, just do that. And I was like, oh, that's good.
You know, about 3 years ago, they advanced from fingerprint to facial recognition.
Oh, really? Oh, God,
yeah.
No, I don't want to see my face.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No,
yeah.
I've done the face recognition thing to get, I think it was something for the NHS or something, whatever I did it for, I can't remember. And it actually doesn't recognise my face.
Oh.
He said it doesn't marry up to my passport. And I think, yeah, because I'm fucking grieving and I look like shit.
Yeah.
This is it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
You want to lose a child and see if you look like your picture.
Yeah. Yeah, it does age it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, so that's us. We need to sort the Zoom thing out. So we can
That's
start
on
our
you.
Zoom calls. I know, but I can't do the technical side of it. You know that. Just come to terms with you have to do everything, right? Just accept it and stop trying to force me to do things because they don't get done.
Okay.
Thursday night, something like that.
Okay.
UK time, about 7 p.m.
Right.
There you go. I've started you off there. Done my bit.
Have you?
Yeah. Right. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to us moan, whinge, whatever you want to say.
Make ourselves sound crazy. Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Give us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And grab yourself a cuppa.
Yeah. Find a comfortable spot.
And we'll journey through grief together.
Thank you.
Bye.